Welcome to Meeting Hair Standards, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of standardization with a special focus on smaller businesses and the remarkable work of the women that represent them. Today, we are peeling back the layers of an industry that touches almost every individual, cosmetics. An industry where beauty is crafted with precision, science, and also, importantly, standards. And to guide us through this fascinating sector is Caroline Bassoni, one of the small business standards experts working for COSMED, the French Cosmetics Association for SMEs. We will discuss the evolving landscape of cosmetics, the role of smaller businesses in shaping the industry standards, and the important contributions of women like Caroline, who ensure that what we apply to our skin and hair not only enhances our beauty, but also meets the highest standards. So whether you are an enthusiast of beauty products, an entrepreneur in the cosmetic space, or simply curious about the world of standardization in this industry, today's episode promises valuable insights and very interesting conversations. So let's dive deep into beauty and standardization with Caroline. So hello, Caroline.
Hello, Maitane.
And thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So to start with and to set the stage for our listeners, could you give us an overview of your role in COSMED and how you became involved in standardization to support SMEs, and also in which technical committees are you involved?
Yeah, sure. So first, let me tell you a few words about COSMED. So COSMED is the professional association. We are federating around 1,000 French cosmetic companies, and 80% of them are SMEs. So in my role, together with the expert regulatory team, I represent and I defend the cosmetic sector position and interest within various French and European organizations, including SME United. And our role here is really to anticipate and to shape the future of the regulatory framework. So as part of our representation role, I was already engaged in standardization at the French national level in AFNOR cosmetic groups. And I wanted to further expand my commitment and my support to SMEs by raising their voices in standardization at European and at international level. So this is where I had the pleasure to be nominated as an expert in 2023. So first in the cross-functional cosmetic group at European level in the SEN and at international level in ISO. And on top, I am engaged in a specific group, the Sun Protection Test Method group, which is currently very actively working on disruptive alternative methods to allow our industry to switch from in vivo SPF testing on humans, which are raising ethical questions, to move to in vitro methods. So this is where I stand today, and I'm really happy to share with you more on cosmetics.
Okay, so I really see that there is much work going on in this area, and if we go a bit deeper into the world of cosmetics, could you enlighten us a bit more on the significance of standards in this industry, why they are important?
My cosmetic standards are really crucial because in fact they allow to ensure that the development and that the production of our products can really be best in class, and that our consumer can really trust them. So here the cosmetic standards are key at really at different stages of their development. So it's stability, production, control testing, storage, shipment, and even for claim purposes. So maybe I can give you some concrete examples for safety. For example, we have different microbiological test method which has been developed for the detection of microorganisms in cosmetics. And this ensures that we can market safe products and that the result of the microbiological tests are really can be comparable between different laboratories. To give you another illustration for quality, we have the ISO 22216, which are guidelines on good manufacturing practices, which are as well called GMP. And here it's really interesting because it's really a unique example in cosmetic where a standard has been recognized under the European Union as a reference harmonized standard that companies should comply with under the EU cosmetic product regulation. So here it's really supportive to fulfill a regulatory requirement. And yeah.
Okay, I mean, I think the examples you showed really give us a very clear idea of how important standards are for the cosmetics industry. Now, if we build on that and we narrow it down to SMEs in the cosmetics sector, how do these standards plays out for them? Are there maybe unique challenges or benefits that SMEs encounter, especially when we compare them to the giants in this industry?
Yeah, so the standard, in fact, over the years, they have really became key referential and for the whole cosmetic industry. So even if as such they are not mandatory, but truly over the supply chain, the cosmetic partner, they are expecting and they are requiring the conformance to the standard. So this is where the application of the standard for the SMEs are really key, and it really constitutes a key advantage in the sense that it will help SMEs to first to satisfy the requirement of the EU legislation, but as well to really work internally to simplify their product development, their processes, and in the end, the cost for sure. And finally, I would say that it's even more critical currently because we see that the growth for SME can only come from international development. And if you apply standard, it's really like the basics to get this competitiveness at an international level. It's really like a must-have. So this is, let's say, really key advantages for SMEs. But I want to highlight as well that there are some challenges that they are facing. And the first one is to get proper awareness of the standard and as well proper support to properly implement them. And sometimes it's complicated as well because they may not have proper financial resources, especially compared to big groups. So this is where, as an SBS expert, I really play a key role here in making sure, that the standard we developed can be affordable as well for the SMEs, and so that we can get into a fair market competition. So it's really for SME, sometimes discussing with them, they might consider really the potential complexity of those standards to put them in place. And this is why it's important to have them understand the value of investing time, and that in the end it will be truly beneficial for the performance, the quality, and the reliability, and the market trust. And usually, this is argument that they can hear and that they are then happy to implement.
Okay, so there are some challenges, but indeed there is also a lot to win from standards if we make sure through your work, for example, that indeed they fit the needs and the capabilities of SMEs as well.
Yeah, clearly. This is what is happening.
So if we shift now a bit the focus to the evolving landscape, and we see trends like natural cosmetics, sustainable packaging that are gaining momentum, how is standardization adapted to these shifts in the industry? How do you see this?
But in fact, standardization has already tackled this topic. We have the development of the ISO 16128, which is a standard which allows really to define criteria for natural and organic cosmetic ingredients. And it was really so welcomed by the company because thanks to this standard, they can further use those principles into their claim support for their organic and natural products. So this is this is already happening. But you're right that we see the future with very high regulatory pressure, especially we have the European Green Deal. And we have the development of sustainability cross-category regulation. So we envision some requirements such as the digital product passport or under eco-design requirement as well. And we see that we will need to develop future standards. So we are already working on those developments, especially within SBS. We have a dedicated sustainability group. So I'm part of it, and here it's really important for our cosmetic sector to make sure that standard that will be developed, as we're talking about cross-category regulation and concept, that they can be fit for purpose for cosmetics. So this is something I care about, and it's still very early stage, but we are deeply engaged in shaping this area. It's so critical. Yes.
Okay, so some work for the future, I see, in this area.
Yeah, just the beginning.
So just a last question. So we are getting to the end of our conversation, and I was just thinking, Caroline, for the many SMEs that might be listening and are keen on staying ahead of the curve, what guidance can you offer them regarding how they can adopt the most recent standards in the cosmetic industry, and which kind of advice you will give them for those that want to stay up to date?
Yeah. But at first, it's like a basic advice, but they could, as a first approach, consult the ISO website. It's providing a lot of valuable information on the cosmetic technical committees, the published standard, and the one under development. After, indeed, for SMEs, they might need a closer support. So I encourage you to connect with COSMED. We can provide dedicated and practical guidance or training here. And as well, we are very happy, to get their input, and we really regularly push them as well to get involved in the standardization process. Because as you saw with the example we share, it's really a continuous work in progress. So it's important that the SME can participate in the discussion and really writing the standard together with us. Because otherwise their needs may not be totally taken into account. So this is this is so key, and in a way it would be my conclusion to them that okay, let's all together work, let's all be actors of the future standard. This is in our hands, and we can act on it, and we have this opportunity. So I'm happy they can connect with me to further work together. Yeah.
Thank you, Caroline. I think we can end with your sentence, which I think is very appropriate. Let's all be actors in the development of the future standards for this industry. And thank you very much for joining us today. I think your insights today have been invaluable, also offering a deep dive into the significance of standards for SMEs within the cosmetics industry. So thank you very much, Caroline.
To you, Maitanya, it was my pleasure to share my experience on cosmetics here. Thank you so much.
And to our listeners, I just hope that this episode of Meeting Her Standards has given a bit more insights on the standards in the cosmetics industry and the dedication and expertise that goes into the products that we use daily. So I would just say stay curious, and we'll be back soon with more inspiring discussions. Until next time, and keep meeting her standards.